was sparked in the course of other research when we learnt that there was a Nottingham branch of the British Anti-Apartheid movement. Now, the movement had vital grassroots support all over the UK, in cities and boroughs of London, for example, but Nottingham, unlike cities like Liverpool, Sheffield, Bristol, did not have its history documented and shared for the public, as well as for academic researchers, but mainly for the public. So we sought to remedy that and to do it while it's still in living memory.
I've talked about the boycott of South African goods. We must persuade other local authorities to follow our action. We must also persuade other local authorities to follow the action of the County Council, which was the first council in this country to disinvest from South African.
We put out a public call for contributors in spring last year, shortly after the 30th anniversary of Nelson Mandela's release from prison in 1990. We had some wonderful contributors come forward who were activists from the 60s right through to the early 90s, until the fall of apartheid and beyond, actually, 1994, and have helped me with a great deal of fantastic imagery, memorabilia, documentation that they've kept.
In the late 1960s, in 1969, when the Springboks rugby team came to Britain, and I was asked to coordinate the Nottinghamshire response to a game being played in Leicester. But on the day itself, we decided we were going to cut the cable to the floodlights at the rugby ground. We got into the ground behind the try line and waited until the Springboks were there. And then we took out our banners at a pre-arranged time and started telling them things. And I told them in Afrikaans, "Fok off terug na Zuid-Afrika, jy bliksem racist." And the looks on these guys' faces of astonishment at the kind of abuse they were getting was only matched by the positive support we got outside the ground. So a mix. I mean, in the ground, people were cross because they wanted to see the game, but out the ground, we got a lot of people saying how positive they were. And so we were supporting the people of South Africa against this gruesome racist regime and getting a lot of support from people in Britain. So that was one memory.
We united today and said that we support the struggle in South Africa. We united today and said that this is part of the battlefront against apartheid.
If I named a couple of important themes right now, the first one would have to be the importance of solidarity work by trade unionists. And there were two dimensions to that. The first one is the long-term, long-haul, systematic campaign work that the British AAM branch in Nottingham and Mansfield and Worksop did with trade unions over the years. And secondly, there were a lot of initiatives that trade unionists got going themselves to support oppressed black workers in South Africa. Coal and coal mining was a really important nexus of solidarity in this region, for obvious reasons, with mining being so important to Nottinghamshire's history. And the miners were really quick to get behind the campaigns as soon as they learned about the reality of life for black miners in South Africa and the oppression that they suffered and the dangers in their day-to-day work and life.
Well, I think Nottingham itself is great for, it's a very multicultural place. It has been a very multicultural place for a very long time. I mean, you could argue it goes right back to, our deep history and the fact, that the Vikings and Anglo-Saxons, had to live together and put up with the Normans when they came along. I think, it's location, basically the crossing point between north and south has meant that, as I say, we've always been a place where lots and lots of people have had to get on with each other. So, I think we're a very, very tolerant city, basically, overall.
What do we want? Sanctions! What do we want them now?
Isolate apartheid! Sanctions now! Isolate apartheid! Sanctions now!
Well, this era is still within living memory, so it's absolutely vital we get the first-hand accounts now, rather than in 30 years' time. It was somewhat surprising to me that Nottingham hadn't had this history recorded before, but we're remedying that. And it's an important chapter in the lineage of anti-racism protests. And I think the events of last year with Black Lives Matter have really underscored yet again that this battle isn't over. And anti-apartheid activism is an important step in that history, and unfortunately terribly resonant last year and this year and ongoing. As Nelson Mandela said when he was released from prison in 1990, the struggle continues, and that's very much still the case.
In the land of Africa.